So after 1 hour of slabbing, I'm just taking off the 36-inch bar and putting a 24 back on. And I noticed in there, that is actually a Torx head or cap head bolt that's in there. So I'm assuming that can only have come off the cylinder. So yeah, back to the workshop again for this. Okay, so as you saw in the video the other day, I'd used this MS660 for about 1 hour of slabbing after I'd done a fix on the exhaust there. Prior to doing the fix on the exhaust, I had actually fixed an issue with the cylinder, where the cylinder had actually come loose. Everything was okay. It was actually the gasket that had just blown out, the paper gasket that came with it had blown out and allowed the cylinder to become loose. So I'd taken the cylinder off, put a new OEM still gasket in place and fixed that down. But then, yeah, the weekend after I was using this for an hour slabbing, I noticed there was a bolt in here. So I'll take the chain off. Let's have a look, see what we got. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's an actual bolt there. So I'm assuming that's come from the cylinder head. So yeah, let's take some of this casing off and get access to that, see what we can see. Now that is a full filter. That's just from 1 hour of use. So I'm going to give that a blow out with the air gun later. So what I can see is, yeah, so what I can see here is I've got 1, 2, 3 bolts in place. So I can still see them, and that one's actually come loose. And this 4th one is actually missing, and I can see it down there. So if I tip this up, there's the 4th bolt. Now I'd tightened those up and I'd put Loctite on them as well. So what I'm going to do, give that a clean and reinstate it with red Loctite thread locker rather than the blue stuff. Don't know if you can see it on there, but the thread locker seems to have pushed all the way up here. The threads are absolutely clear down the bottom. So thread locker red. It's going to be interesting actually. Before I put that on, let's work out how I'm going to install this. Yeah, hopefully I can fit it in that way. heaps of it on there this time. Okay, so that's got that in there. So that's tight. That one had loosened off. That's now tight. That's tight. Right, that's all four tight, so I'm hoping that that is now fixed and I don't have any more issues. Okay, so put these 3 screws in, 3 bolts in. Okay, so that's now been cleaned. You can see a lot of that blown off now. So we'll finish the assembly. And that is the finished saw, ready for another day's action. See how long it lasts this time, eh? So a recap on the Farmertec MS660 and the issues I've had with it. So prior to today's trip into the workshop, I broke the woodruff key on the starter there on the flywheel. I've had to change the decompression valve. The gasket between the cylinder and the body blew out, so I've had to replace that. The gasket behind the exhaust, between the exhaust and the cylinder, that part of that blew out, so I've had to replace that. The internal baffle on the exhaust there is broken as well. I had to re-weld that. What else have I had? Oh, the other annoying bit is losing the label out, which is a minor thing. Yeah, the thing that I just had to do in today's session is one of the bolts that holds the cylinder down to the body had totally come out. Luckily the other three were tight enough to hold the cylinder on, but yeah, it totally come loose, so I've thread locked that again, as you've just seen. Don't know what else I can do. This is the second time now that those bolts have come loose. So they're all very tight. If I go much tighter than that, I'll actually start stripping the threads. So I think with the repair work I've done now, this is ready for use next time I go through to land. So we'll give it another try, and fingers crossed I have no more issues for a long time.